The most important thing I've ever done for my mental health has been going to therapy. But it wasn't always easy, and like a lot of people for a long time, I felt the stigma of going to therapy. I felt ashamed, I felt guilty, I felt like me going to therapy was going to make me less of a man. And especially as a musician, I felt like if I went to therapy and started asking for help or talking about my struggles openly, then I wouldn't be a real musician. I wouldn't be a real struggling artist. It took me the best part of a decade to finally start consistently going to therapy. And in that time, definitely cancelled more sessions than I've attended. And even though I've grown up in an era where mental health awareness is greater than ever, I didn't know anyone personally, whether a fellow musician or friend who was struggling with depression, anxiety, or suicidal thoughts like I was. So I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to. If I went online to try to find my music heroes or any great musician who opened up about their struggles, it would always be maybe a 3 or 4 minute snippet on CNN or short interview on Letterman or something. There was nothing really deep, so I felt like I couldn't relate to anyone, and that left me feeling really lonely in my struggles. As I look back, I don't think it was necessarily the therapy session itself that intimidated me, the act of talking to a stranger. I think the scariest part was actually going to the therapy session, going to the clinic, getting up out of bed when I was exhausted and drained and barely had any will to want to live, and then fighting the urge to turn around as I was driving to the clinic. And then you get to the clinic and the carpet is as old as dust and there's probably still asbestos in the walls, so you're thinking you probably shouldn't be here. But I can tell you now, since I started going to therapy regularly, and even early on when I would try to find any reason not to, every time I went to a therapy session, I would walk out of that room feeling so much lighter, a little bit calmer. And even though the feeling was temporary, I tell myself, if I come back for 10, 15, maybe 50 more sessions, maybe this feeling of hope will become permanent and stay forever. And that's why therapy, for me, has been the most important thing for my mental health and my life.